infectious diseases, research, medicine, health. Welcome to Outbreak News Interviews. And now, broadcasting from the Outbreak News Skylar Studios in beautiful West Central Florida, here is your host, microbiologist and editor of OutbreakNewsToday.com, Robert Harriman.
Hey everybody, this is Robert, and welcome to Outbreak News Interviews. Now, in some exciting news out of Vietnam and the islands of Palau and Wallis and Futuna, the World Health Organization announced they had eliminated lymphatic filariasis as a public health problem. Joining me today to talk about lymphatic filariasis and about the recent string of successes not only in Vietnam, but also Nepal, Cambodia, and Laos, is Senior Manager, Neglected Tropical Diseases at RTI International, Molly Brady, MPH. Well, hi, Molly, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So this is a really big achievement in Vietnam. Can we go ahead and start by explaining to the audience what is lymphatic filariasis?
Sure. Lymphatic filariasis is a parasitic disease. It's transmitted by mosquitoes. Oftentimes when people are infected with lymphatic filariasis parasites, this can lead to lymphoedema, which is a swelling of the legs or the arms. And in its most severe form, lymphoedema, the skin gets hardened and thickened, and this is called elephantiasis. Early researchers were reminded of an elephant skin, so they coined it this name. LF also causes swelling of the scrotum in men, a condition that's called hydrocele. And these clinical conditions occur later in life, often years after people are first infected, and they can lead to permanent disability and disfigurement. Oftentimes people with severe forms of these diseases are stigmatized and they're unable to continue to work. And at the beginning of the global program to eliminate LF in 2000, there were approximately 120 million people around the world that had lymphedema or hydrocele.
Okay, well, this is considered one of the neglected tropical diseases. Molly, what is an NTD?
So NTDs are a set of 21 communicable diseases. They've been grouped together by the World Health Organization because they're strongly associated with poverty, and they occur in tropical areas of the world, and they have a set of interventions that work against most of them. So they affect about 1 billion people, and they often strike the most vulnerable people in the world, those that don't have access to clean water or don't have access to regular medical care. They reduce productivity in a country. They also place increased burdens on health systems when they have to take care of people that have diseases like lymphedema or hydrocele, and they also can result in reduced attendance in schools, particularly for lymphatic filariasis. If a child has a parent with lymphedema or hydrocele who can't work or take care of themselves, they end up staying home from school in order to help around the house. I think the effort to control and eliminate these diseases is one of the biggest public health programs that the world has really never heard of.
Yeah, it's really a big thing with, 1 billion people affected maybe. I mean, if you include Ascaris and all those other parasites.
Exactly, yeah.
Molly, let's switch gears to what happened in Vietnam. I'd love to get your thoughts on this because you're really heavily involved in lymphatic filariasis.
Sure. So I think first of all, the government of Vietnam really deserves congratulations for meeting this ambitious public health goal. It was through their leadership and commitment of the Ministry of Health and specifically the National Institute for Malariology, Parasitology, and Entomology, along with the support of USAID and multiple partners, that the people of Vietnam no longer have to worry about lymphatic filariasis. And Vietnam is just the beginning. It's proof that LF elimination is possible, as you mentioned, along with Vietnam, Palau and Wallis and Futuna were also just validated. And around the world, we expect to continue seeing this success as one by one these achievements are realized.
And I was on the website and I saw that it looks like you were right in the thick of it in Cambodia, which eliminated LF as a public health problem in 2016. Molly, can you describe to the audience the public health actions that were taken over the years to reach that goal?
Sure. The very first thing that the Ministry of Health in Cambodia did was that they mapped the country to determine where the disease was present. Once they figured out the high prevalence areas, they then conducted mass treatment campaigns for several years in these areas, and that meant giving out drugs to the population in these areas, either at fixed points in each village or going house to house to deliver the drugs directly to people living in the house. After being able to show that they, each year in those mass treatment campaigns, were able to reach at least 65% of people, they then did a survey to see that the disease prevalence was below a point under which we could expect transmission to die out on its own. When they were able to show that prevalence had been lowered enough, they stopped the mass treatment campaigns and then over the next 5 to 6 years did 2 repeat surveys to confirm that. Now, at the same time that they were working to lower the prevalence, they also were trying to provide clinical care to patients with lymphedema and hydrocele, ensuring that people with lymphedema had access to training in how to care for the lymphedema themselves, and that the men with hydrocele had access to surgery. So once both those components were completed, as a final step, we at RTI assisted the Ministry of Health to document their work and to submit a dossier to WHO. And now, even though LF has been eliminated, we and USAID are continuing to work with Cambodia to design a cost-effective methodology to continue surveillance for LF, to ensure it does not reoccur, and if it does, to be able to detect it and respond quickly.
Really great work. Molly, can you talk about USAID's flagship project called Envision, and what's the goal?
Sure. So Envision is an 8-year project, as you mentioned, funded by USAID. It's led by RTI International, and it supports ministries of health in over 19 countries to meet NTD elimination and control goals. So in 2006, USAID began investing in NTDs, in part because of an unprecedented public-private partnership with the pharmaceutical industry, but also because of the promise that several of the NTDs could be eliminated. And I think this recent elimination success in Vietnam in lymphatic filariasis, as well as you mentioned the elimination of trachoma, another NTD in Nepal and Cambodia and Laos, really shows that this promise is coming true.
Molly, any final thoughts on LF, NTDs in general, or any of these recent achievements?
Thanks, Robert. I want to say, first of all, I very much appreciated this time to talk with you. And I guess I would like to summarize by saying that the elimination in Vietnam, along with the elimination of LF in 13 other countries, is solid evidence that success is possible. And I think it provides some hope in a time when a lot of the news that we hear can be discouraging. And we really look forward to continuing to support countries to achieve the elimination milestone and protect future generations from disability and poverty.
Well, you guys at RTI International and like-minded organizations are doing a great job with this stuff. And I want to thank you, Molly Brady, for your time and your expertise, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much.